Yeah, I'm in my zone right now. Bobby, whoa. Oh, welcome out there, everybody, to another edition of Real Talk for Real Men. You know I got to get into my groove as I do this first, but I don't own the rights to this music. You already know, but I need it to get me through. Alexa, stop. Yes, 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 yes. I have to have that vibe to get me there, and I'm having a good day. What's going on, McMac? How you doing? Yes, 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 ma'am. Well, good to see you, sweetheart. That's number one. Good to see you. So I'm having a good day, and I'm looking forward to this conversation. I want to say to the audience, anybody joining us tonight, we missed last Saturday. Sometimes you have to take a little mental health break, but refreshed, revived, like everybody else, And so I did miss you guys, although it was just one show. But I'm glad to be back, and I'm hoping that you tune in with me tonight and follow me on this journey as we cover another juicy topic here on Real Talk for Real Men. And before we get into it, McMac, how's your week going so far? Wow, wow. We're gonna look like escape it here in Atlanta. It was 73 degrees here today, and I went out and it was absolutely gorgeous. It was stunning. The weather was just fantastic. I hated to come back to work, but it is what it is. But it looks like we're gonna miss all of that stuff. But we're gonna jump into it. Hopefully, as usual, we hope to get you some guests to join us. I posted link into the commentary sections of the show, Real Talk for Real Men. If you want to join, you're more than welcome. We're not going to hurt you here. We're going to handle you light. Even though sometimes we do heavy topics, we always land softly. I'm gonna always give you a nice soft place to land. As always, the way we do the show here is that all opinions are welcome. There is no such thing as a wrong opinion. Even when we disagree, we're not going to do it in a disagreeable way. So just know it's a safe place to come on board, share your opinions. If you don't want to come on camera live, please share your points, your questions, your thoughts in the comments. I try to squeeze those in where I can. I welcome any and everybody to come on to the show. So this is being broadcast, on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. It's being broadcast on Facebook and Instagram all at the same time. So, you don't have to know me, to get your thoughts in here. So, I love to hear everybody's opinion. So I don't claim I know everything. I just introduce these subjects out here so that we can talk about them, and that's what we do. So as always, I want to thank everybody for being a part of this. So if you don't know, we go live every Wednesday and every Saturday from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock is when we do our live shows. I've been derelict in my duties and posting some additional videos, but I'm going to get back on my grind. But again, every Wednesday, every Saturday night from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, we are live with Real Talk for Real Men. So if you haven't been joining, please join the fun, join the conversation. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, please like the videos, share them with other people so that other people can become a part of the conversation. So I ask for you to like, share, and subscribe, tell some friends, and so with that said, we're going to get into the actual subject. And so hopefully we'll get some people to join in. But if not, McMac, you know how we do this. We talk about the things on this show that you and I talk about anyway all the time. So in case people are wondering where a lot of times where this stuff comes from, this is just normal conversations I have with my best friend, I have with family members, and it just gets to a point where if it's a topic that we can build upon and bring it to the table in a bigger forum, then that's what we do. Welcome, Sherry. It's my sister. For y'all don't know, how you doing tonight, sis? We can't hear you. Yeah, you're on mute, sis. Unmute yourself. There you go. Yeah, how you doing? Oh, all right. Well, even tied. Thank you for joining, sis. All right. You got your hair pinned back, which I don't like, but okay. I like your hair flowing. I like that flowing, which is still beautiful. So thank you for joining. And so, until we get some other people on here, let's get into it. Tonight's topic is tax time parenting. And I've already had one of my viewers ask me, well, what does it mean? What am I talking about? And I didn't answer the person. I said, well, hey, hold your opinion. He said, because I think I know what it is, but I want to see if I got it right. And you guys know that I like to hear your views as fresh as anybody else. I don't like it to be rehearsed. I like to hear it for the first time so I can process it in real time the same way you guys do. So when we talk about, before I tell you how I came to the subject, because that would explain it, Sherry, I'm gonna start with you. When I say tax time parenting, what does that mean to you? Hmm. Okay. And why do you think I brought this to our forum when we talk about relationships between men and women? So why do you think, if that's what it means to you, why do you think I brought this to the forum? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Tasha, when you heard this topic, what did it make you think of? Your voice is going in and out. Uh-huh. Fantastic. Laying out. You guys are both accurate. Spot right on, hit the nail on the head. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because it was actually appropriate with this being tax time. Ironically, if you're following the news, and we're not going to get too deep into the politics and religion, we try to stay away from that. But what is everybody looking forward to right now? We're talking about on a regular basis. We waiting on them stimulus checks. You know, we waiting on tax time. Although we have a new regime in the White House, there's a lot of people still out there hurting. You know, and so on a microeconomic level, I wanted to talk about this because it, believe it or not, is a real phenomenon. Like you said, Tasha, this doesn't apply to everyone. So we're not saying by any means that parents are all derelict in their duties and all men don't take care of their kids or all women are just out there to get money. But let's be realistic. We know that that is a real thing in many cases. That we do know that around this time of year, there really are tax time parents on both sides of the coin now. We know that, as Tasha you mentioned, a lot of times we think about the men that for the entire year they're free to do whatever they want to, and here we are now at the beginning of the year, and now they're daddy's little girl, and little man, and I'm there, because I want to play my part and seeing what's available to me, you know. And then you got the mothers on the hand that all year long, we know that a lot of times they're not the best of moms. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a damn about what these kids are eating, drinking, nourishment. But when it gets to be tax time, all of a sudden you start seeing this mad scramble for who's going to claim this kid, because it means money. And so, how does that translate to what we're going to talk about in terms of relationships? I want to talk about tonight. How did it get that? How did it get to here? What do we do about it? And how we can maybe fix some of this? What's up, Carlos? Thank you for joining the show, my brother. Appreciate you as always. And so, let's talk about some, you know, uh, for me on a microeconomic level, again, why it was important for me to do it, because I actually have friends who ask those questions about, you know, whether it's fair for both parties to share the funds, and who deserves the money, who gets credit, because I see it on both sides of the aisle. Now let me state for the record, I'm not a parent, so I'm a single guy. So my opinions are my own. You know how to say on these shows, the views and opinions expressed is expressly your own. They're my own. So I want to state that for the record. That don't mean I'm right. It's just my opinions. But I know what's going on, Shavonna. How you doing, sweetheart? But I want to state on how it affects me on a microeconomic level. Every other weekend here in Atlanta, I go across town and I treat myself to some crab legs. And this last past weekend, the Super Bowl was coming, we all know. And I drove about a 45, 50-minute drive across town, because you got to go to the hood when you want to get the real food. I don't live in the hood. Yes, I'm a little sedity, but I don't live in the hood. So I had to drive across town to the hood to try to get me some good old crab legs, because they fix them right. And I'll be damned if I don't care what time I drive across town. If I try to get there early, get there late. Sometimes there are not too many people in there, but I'll be damned if they done bought all of the Dungeness crab legs up. It's either the welfare moms or the tax time moms, and they always get the good shit. I just can't seem to beat them hoes to get it. So it's affected me and my ability to get my crab legs. And I'm making fun of this, but on a serious note, we know that we're entering that time when that money is coming. And you're gonna see new vehicles on the road. Me and Tasha talk about this all the time. I live in a gated community, and just this weekend, on my way out, the same day, that Saturday morning, I'm driving, and my dumpster is at the very front of my apartment community. And I swear I'm not making this up. There was a beautiful full bedroom set with the dressers and a flat screen TV, and you could tell that everything was in beautiful condition, but somebody was throwing it out. We know that around this time of year, when you get those tax checks, you know what do tax time parents do, Tasha and Sherry, when they get them tax checks? What is the money really spent on? Somebody tell me. Absolutely, absolutely, Sherry. Would you agree? You know, and so here I am in my little one room abode, and I got enough shit, anyway. And I'm somewhat of a hoarder. I'm a hoarder in a lot of ways. But I swear I hesitated for a minute, because I really was thinking about throwing this stuff in my car and lugging it upstairs, because it was nothing wrong with it. But the reality was, I had to think in that quick moment, I don't have anywhere to put this stuff. There's nothing wrong with it, but I don't need another TV. I don't have another spare bedroom here. I've actually got a bedroom set already in storage, brand new. And but the thought was, as I'm driving away, well, wow, and that's kind of where the money goes a lot of times. And so you wonder, like, well, if the money's not going to be spent on the kids, what's the point, right? So I want to ask you guys a question. And before I kind of get into this, because we know that this is the dirty little scene that plays out each and every year. But I want to ask you guys something. I wish I had some guys on here right now. Carlos, if you still in the waiting room, not in the waiting room, in the commentary, I want your opinion because you're going to represent the guys along with me. And Shavana, you can answer this as well. But I want to ask you guys a question. We know that in most cases there is a custodial parent, right, that has the kids. So I got a question for you guys. Whoever claims that child is likely the custodial parent in most cases, right? Not always, but in most cases. So when that money comes, and let's talk about, for the record, for anybody listening, what kind of money we're talking about. Now I'm not a tax expert or anything like that, but just so you know, there's a lot of interesting things happening, with taxes and the stimulus check and all this stuff going on. What's going on, Kennard? We know that our right now we're likely to get another $1,400 to equal the $2,000 that they want to give us for stimulus. They're actually raising the amount that they're gonna give to children, so that amount is going up. My sister, she made me aware that the last time they gave the stimulus checks, they were excluding people over 17, who were dependents, and now they're being included. So we're talking about a substantial amount of money potentially that could be coming into people's homes when you claim these kids. They even raised the earned income rate up. So we know that in many cases, if you got 2 or 3 kids and you claiming, we're talking seven, eight, $10,000, coming in to that household. We've already established that in many cases, that money is going towards flat screen TVs, is going towards electronics, the new iPhone, the new Jordans, the new purses, and they damn sure buying a whole lot of crab legs. So they probably spend $700 in crab legs by themselves. So, but I want to ask you guys, when that money comes in, how do you think the money should be divided? You got a custodial parent and a parent who doesn't live there. In your humble opinion, who has claim to the money in your opinion? Anybody? Okay. 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 Uh, Kennard, I know you're coming in late a little bit, but before I move on to that, I know earlier, you didn't get a chance to give me your views. When you think of tax time parents, what does that make you think about? Right? Yep. Right. Gotcha. Okay. So I'll ask you the question because you're dead on. You right where we're at. So when that money does come in, and for that custodial parents, and I love the fact that you mentioned that in most cases, not always, but in most cases, the man is the villain. When that money comes in, who has legal claim to the money, in your opinion? Right. Okay. 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 It's a real thing. No, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Okay, hold that for me for a second because I want you to go on that in my next segment. We're going to talk about why this is a microcosm for even bigger issue. So I'm going to come right back to you. But Tasha, I'll ask you that same question. Who, in your opinion, has legal claims to the funds? Okay. Okay. So I think all of us are in agreement. Candice from the candy shop, she said whoever's raising the child. Carlos said a person who has the kids gets the money. And I agree with you guys as well. And that's why I use that word custodial parent. And Kennard really went where I was wanting to go with this, that for that person who's coming along at the end, who's in and out, and even it's not when I say they don't do anything for the child, but I love the fact that Kennard brought up the fact that it's a whole nother ball game when you having to deal with them children on a day-to-day basis. Because it's one thing when, and we're gonna stick with the example of the father in many cases being the culprit. And anybody out there listen, I'm not making men the culprit, but let's be realistic about this. If I'm a guy, and in many cases, guys have multiple kids by multiple baby mamas, and yet they're living free. And so even if you're a decent dad, where you do pick up little Ray Ray and Pookie here and there, you have a birthday party for them, during a holiday every now and then, you get the kid. That's fantastic because you're doing what you can to be in that child's life. But as Kennard brought up, and I'm gonna get ready to come back to you, Kennard, that's a whole different ball game than the day to day of that parent who's there, who have to rub that kid's stomach when they're sick, take them to doctor's appointments, help them with homework, deal with all kinds of issues, emotional, mental, be the disciplinarian. That's a whole nother ball game. So Kennard, now I want to come back to you because you was getting ready to go where I wanted to delete this, because what we're talking about here to me is a microcosm of a much bigger issue. And so you were saying how you came to realize, hey, it's women also on child support. So go ahead and please finish your point. Okay. Okay. Okay, very valid points. And that is probably fodder for a whole nother conversation if we talk about where the funds could be divested and spent better. But the point I want to focus on in terms of relationships as it applies to this show is, when I say it's a microcosm of a bigger issue, let's be honest out there. There are a lot of mothers out there who are bearing the brunt of raising these kids, by themselves. And so when we joke about this and use these funny names, and that's because it's real, you know, and sometimes they're not the best parent, but it is what it is. The card that they draw is that's what the kids are living with. If you know about anything about apartment rental communities, most of the family apartments, hell, a neighbor that lives right behind me, I wish this bitch would fall down the stairs because I can't stand her. She got a bunch of kids over there, and every now and then, you know, you hear a male voice, I guess when they're having a celebration, you know, uh, 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 4th of July, then all of a sudden, it is really like it's almost like a plan for a holiday comes, and you hear laughing and talking early, music is loud, then the later it gets to arguing, and before you know it, they get to fight, and it's like a recipe for disaster. And I have to tolerate this bitch with all the messy problems behind me because their living room is my bedroom wall. But having said that, the bigger issue out here is that there are so many single mothers, that are caught in situations where they have the children. So that's the bigger issue. That's the bigger issue. And so what I want to kind of turn the conversation on a little bit, yes, Savannah, we got these names, is how, you know, we got here and what we can do about it, because as I said, so many black women are finding themselves being the primary caregiver for these children. So I want to talk about a couple of things real quick to establish this. And of course, you guys know I do a lot of research and stuff. There was a 2010 Pew report, Research Center report, and it talked about a few things that I found fascinating, and I want to get you guys' take on this. And one of the things the study talked about, it says that there are far more black women than there are black men in this country. Would y'all agree? Okay, so right there. And it said it's been that way for some time. Now, this is the part that I found interesting. It says right from age 16 and forward, black women start outnumbering black men. That I didn't know until I thought about it. It says for whites, get this, that doesn't happen until age 32. Let me repeat that. From age 16 going forward, black women start outnumbering men, but the white women, that doesn't happen until age 32. How do you think that affects what we're talking about here? Anybody? Anybody else want to comment? It does. It does. Candice is asking the same thing, and that's why I said if you guys want me to, I will post this article because I thought it was just phenomenal. But it talks about a couple of different reasons. But one of the reasons that I'm going to highlight for here is it talked about, number one, we know that as you guys mentioned, black men, incarceration, drugs, things of that nature, blah, 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 blah. But then it talks about a dynamic about how black love is under attack because of so many myths out there. And so we're going to get into that. So I'm going to read a little bit more about this. It says black women are the only group of women in America who cannot take for granted that if they seek marriage to a black man, that there will be an ample supply of available men from which to choose. It says this is not even a new problem. It goes back several decades. And then it goes on to talk about all of the issues, even within our black community. You say it's almost like the plight of black women looking for eligible partners is the elephant in the room between issues related to skin color, hair texture, low self esteem. It's more difficult for black women to talk about it publicly than to draw attention to the problem. And it talks about this is one of the problems that black women suffer in silence about. Now, of course, not everybody want to be married. I love the fact that it says, to be sure, many of these women lead productive and fulfilling lives without ever marrying. Some even decide to have children without husbands. He said, but a common thread is that for a lot of these black women, that whole married life, that dream is denied to them, and we're going to talk about the fact that how these young girls grow up fantasizing about dating and marrying somebody within their own racial ethnic group. Now, that's where I want to go with this. The myths that we talk about, and there's some stereotypes. What do you think of some of these stereotypes when it comes to black women that are preventing them from being in successful relationships? Anybody? Okay. Okay. Now, but what I'm asking now is, what do you think is, because, okay, you accomplished that. But what do you think is some of the myths about black women that are preventing them from finding successful relationships? It don't have to be marriage because we've already established that there's so many black women raising children by themselves. So what do you think is some of these myths? Welcome, Eric. Welcome, Candace. That myths about black women. Bravo, Tasha. Bravo. Bravo. You nailed a lot of it. The reality is, you know what we hear, and I'm a black man, and Eric, I want you to get in here when I bring this up. Kennard, I want him here. Carlos, you out there, my brother, I want your commentary on this as well. You know, um, the mystery here about black women, you nailed a lot of them, Tasha. Black women are angry, they're overbearing, they're lazy, they're prudish, hypersexual. You know what I'm saying? Um, they can't take a joke, and they're emasculating. And so this is the rap that a lot of black women get. Eric, as a man, speak on this. Absolutely, absolutely. Good, very good points. Candace, I've been saving this point all week to get to you. Oh, okay. So I thought you was about to black it on me. And there's a reason why. You are such a very strong advocate for black women. And so I wanted to hear your take on what you think about this, because those myths that we were talking about, as how the world sees black women as so angry and they're lazy, and they emasculate men, and they didn't even say that black women can't even take a joke, you know. Bo Dabo, Jack. Go ahead, Tasha. Okay. 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 You have, and that's what. So that's why I wanted to get your view because I know you're very pro-black. You've said many times on this show, and you definitely said on your show about that. I've always had my own issues when I've heard the term black girl magic, but it wasn't for the reasons that for you, for me. My take on it was I don't have a problem with the term. I for me it was that it neglects the other side of what a lot of black women are showing because you hold this show where you put on full display for the world to see there's black girl magic and you get all these famous people to come out and you only highlight all of the great things that and the girls that are getting an education and they trying to do this and that, and we are ignoring those that are left behind because to your point, not all of them are magic. Some of them might need a little bit of magic to help them along, but they damn sure ain't magic, because I like to encompass the whole picture. Hold on, let me finish because even though you got queens and princesses, we got some hoes out there too, and hoes got to get acknowledged too. you know that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. And we're gonna get into more of that. But that's why I wanted to bring it up in terms of as the myths as it pertains, because what it's doing is, as you said, when you and your husband are walking down the street and people are seeing you, it's almost like some in many cases, like they're looking at an animal or some mythical creature. So Kanar, jump in here real quick. Go ahead. That's why I object to the Black Girl Magic Show. Say that again. We're gonna get to the men, but I'm gonna let you finish. But go ahead. We're gonna get to the men. I know exactly what you're saying, and so that's why I'm loving your point. No, no, I'm loving your point. Eric, did you want to add something? It looked like you had a point. Go ahead, my brother. Okay, and I'm gonna get into some solutions. I want to come out because I'm gonna come back to that when I get to my solutions. But I just want to highlight again that a part of the problem is when we look at these stereotypes and then we hear about black magic. So I want to talk. I'm only talking from the woman's perspective because Kennard, you made the point that I want to drive home that if black women are magic and they are really are looking for black love and black men, then a lot of it starts with you black women out there in terms of what you perpetuate as valuable, because Kennard made the good point, because all that black girl magic and fine, but what you don't see is them highlighting as a good black man, the guy that's a garbage man, the guy that's a plumber. We don't celebrate, when black men are getting their degrees and getting their education, and so they are picking the track star, the football guy, the guy with the six pack of abs. You got these Jason Derulos who flouncing around and with his whatever, and he probably got his legs pinned back behind his ears. And so you ignoring the regular guys out there. Yeah, I said it. I did say it. You know, and so I think for black women that I want you guys out there. I'm saying this to you, that when you look at all of the myths that's attached to your name, you're lazy, you're emasculating, you're loud, you're rude, you're all this and things. Start thinking about the image you want to project if you want to attract black men, which now turns me to the myths of black men. Because we have our own set of things, brothers, that we have myths about us that I want to address as well. So before I go into this, anybody, what are the myths about black men? Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. Come on, Eric. It's a lot of it. I'm just gonna list a handful of them. One of the big ones when it comes to black men is that we're lazy. That one has been perpetuated, from slavery days. That lazy jigaboo, that black men don't want to work. Yeah, that's an old word there. You, one that I still proudly use, but okay. there you go. But that they're lazy, that they won't work. Black men have no education, that they're built to go to jail. They're bound to go to jail. They're criminal, that they're not healthy. That they are not healthy. So, also, like I said, that we're addicted. We have addictions, so this is another reason why, you don't want to look at a black man, and are we only waiting on the other race, interested in other races, particularly white women? And so these are some of the myths that really interrupt black love from coming together. So you got on the one hand the myths about the black women. Now you got on this other hand what's being perpetuated about us as black men. Think about that, guys. Kama Dizzy said it's a brainwashing tool. He says that's why they promote those images of pushers, rappers, athletes. So when they see the average man, he's easily dismissed. That is so true. Kennard, I'm sorry. I didn't mean, did you have another point? Okay. Okay. So let me ask you. So let me ask the panel a question. So it's clear that we look at these myths on both sides, and then how it relates to these tax time parents, who are dipping in, dipping out, and things of that nature. I got a question. Men and women alike, based on what we're talking about. Do you think it's really true that a good black man is hard to find? Candace, she already said she don't believe that. I want to hear you guys' individual opinion. Sherry, yeah. Let me ask you. Do you really think it's hard? It's really hard to find a good black man. Is hard to find. How true is that statement? Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. So you believe that that statement is true. That it's really hard out there to find a good black man. Okay. So you only reference in New York. So then that's eliminate New York. I'm glad you went where I was going with it then. So if you only said New York, so what about the rest of the states? But just not in New York. What is it about New York that you think that it's hard to find a good black man? Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting viewpoint. Right? Right? in New York. So I got a question for you before I go to the next person. If what you're saying is true, that in New York it's hard to find a good black man, why are so many women in every other state struggling to find a good black man? You think in the South? Anybody disagree with that? I know Reverend Ike. Okay. Okay. Before I go to you, Eric, I want to read a couple of comments. Dizzy says it's a two-way street because as a man in New York, he said, I always say there are all good women are in the South or the West. So for you, you saying that there's good women wherever, you know. And so I'm interested, Karma, for you to answer this question for me based on what my sister said. Would you say you are a good man? Answer that in the commentary section, because now for you, you saying that they're good women no matter where they're in the South or West or whatever. But would you consider yourself a good man? Carlos says there are plenty of good black men out here in Memphis, but they are overlooked. You know, they're overlooked. Okay, okay. So you make a valid point there. So you're right in a sense that that's very subjective. But I guess for purposes of the show, we can agree, I think, on a few simple things when we say good. You know, obviously, no woman is going to want to go into a relationship with a man that's a serial cheater. So you're hoping he's loyal. We all agree with that. You know, we hoping that the man is gainfully employed. We all agree with that. You know what I'm saying? You hope that the man has some kind of morals, right? We agree with that. As a woman, you're hoping that the man is actually, protective of you as a woman. Will we all agree with that? Because we're talking about the basic fundamental characteristics that I think we can all agree on is when we say somebody's good. So I like what Kennard said in the sense that we're not talking about types. We're not talking about whether they light skin or dark skin, whether they got good hair or bad hair, you know. But we're talking about the character, you know. So, Sherry, would you agree with that? That definition. So, based on that, those characterizations, somebody that's gainfully employed, protective of women, have some morals, not a cheater, you're saying that's hard to find in New York. So that's what she's saying. That's what she's saying. You know, Shavana threw in another one, believe in God. Now, Shavana, I purposely left that one out, sweetheart, because I think more and more people are more spiritual than they are religious. Religion has screwed up a lot of people. Now, I believe in God, you know, so I'm a man of faith, believe it or not, with all the cursing and stuff that I do, but I am a man of faith, believe it or not, you know, and I have very strong religious views, believe it or not. But I don't know, Siobhan, if that's one that's in demand. You know, I think in a lot of cases now that's one that a lot of women are looking for somebody that's non-denominational, to be honest with you. So that one's okay. So with that said, Tasha, I hope that we've kind of set some boundaries there for what's a good man. But I agree with what Carlos said in the sense that I want to overlook your point. Eric, did you have something else you want to add? Go ahead, my brother. Okay. Right. Absolutely. She makes a good point. She makes a good point. She makes a good point. Go go ahead, Tasha. You make a good point. I'm glad you said that because I want you transition that into Karma answered my question, and I want to go right where what you just said. I asked Karma to say, well, what are you a good man? Karma says, I really don't believe in good or bad people. It's only perception. But as far as me being a person that supports, believes in, listens to, and stands up for my woman, yes, I see myself as a great partner. You agree with what part? Or all of it? Okay. 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 Let me get in here, guys, because I don't agree with every part of your statement, comma. So, Candace, I'm gonna disagree with what you're saying. I do think there's a such thing as good and bad. And I think honestly that's a big part of where the problem comes in is that we've blurred the lines between good and bad. I personally believe that. I think now we living a world where up is down and black is white and we have all these many shades of gray. Now, I like the point you made that you could be with a guy using your scenario and he punches you in the face, but your dad doesn't see that part of him. So no, you can't fault him for what he doesn't know. But I'm sure if dad finds out he punched his daughter in the face, that dude coming up missing. If your dad give a damn about you, you know that he coming up missing because it's gonna be clear at that point that you put your hands on my daughter. But therein lies that where I'm going with this is that I think sometimes when we talk about the perception is how we're willing to bend the rules and bend the standards because we want to have people conform to what we are looking for. When if we really just had our standard and we had it set, I think we might really find what we're looking for. But what happens, I think, a lot of times is we all do it. We as men, we do it as well. You know what I'm saying? I might have a type, but if our ass is fat, well, I'm gonna let it slide. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really feeling it, but a head game is on point, so I guess I will kind of let that slide. You know what I'm saying? This it goes with women as well. Kennard said earlier, I'm not gonna take this dude to the homecoming because he don't have the quality. He don't dress like I want. But if he beat me down correct, I'm gonna keep him on. We bend the standards and bend the rules, so that's where I'm not gonna agree with you on that part of it. You know, in the sense that I do think there is good and bad. But like Tasha, you always talk about, I think we've gotten so far away from what's traditional until we've blurred the lines. I'm trying to bring on Hannah. We blurred the lines in terms of what's acceptable, and I think that's a big part of the problem. Kennard, go ahead, my brother. Okay, okay, okay. Can I share something with you? And I wish in a perfect world that that's how it worked. But I can sit here and tell you, one of my closest buddies. I'm grappling with this situation right now as we speak, Kennard. You know, I'm not gonna share no names on here. One of my friends is a father. He has daughters and sons. Has a master's degree. 17 years in his professional. Married, stable relationship for the most part. And oh, he was a dog. He was a dog. You know, but having been a dog, he called himself educating his daughters on what to look out for, right? And what's pulling his hair out is that you would think that with all the stuff he's done and all of the signs he told her to look out for and the pitfalls and the things like that, guess what his daughters do? They go out and pick exactly the wrong guys because here's the thing. What I tell them about, you're a salmon swimming upstream. You're fighting a current that is against you because for all the beautiful morals and values you're pouring into those kids, when they walk outside your door, my brother, they're being hit and bombarded with the world that's telling them to do the exact opposite. And that's what's killing him because I'm glad I don't have to experience this. All the nasty, dirty things I've done to somebody's daughter, now somebody doing to his daughter. And it's just killing them. It's tearing them apart. I see the looks on your face because when you think about it, oh my God, how many windows we done climbed through, how many times we done snuck a girl out, and now somebody's sneaking his daughter out doing those things. And so he want to throw his hands up because where did I go wrong? You know what I'm saying? And well, that see that might be a part of it. That might be a part of it. You know, that might be Hannah. Welcome to the show, sweetheart. Let me ask you a question to get you right in headed with this conversation. The question we're dealing with and grappling with right now. Somebody's got some feedback that's hurting a little bit. Hannah, let me ask you: do you think it's really that hard to find a good black man out here now? Woo! Come on with it, come on with it. Interesting point. Interesting point. Um, Before I move on to address that, I want to make sure Karma came back and said, I understand the point that you're making, but let's look at the example of polygamy. In some parts of the world, it's a way of life. But here in the US, most places it's illegal. So is a polygamous man bad? My answer to you is that no, his character might not be bad. And in that particular arrangement, that may be great for both people. So I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying I believe there is a standard of what is good and what is bad. But to answer your question about that situation, no, you know what? If consenting adults decide that they can handle that scenario, that situation, it might be good for them. You know, now we could sit here and debate whether that's truly healthy or not, because the idea of polygamy, I think from a man's point of view, is great. That I get to share a couple of women, and this and that. Now, I'm proud to say, or unproud, however you want to put it, I've shared women. I've had multiple. I was wide open, in the situations I've done, so I wasn't one that hid anything. I never uh comma. I've got friends and relatives on here can tell you how I am. I don't close doors. I don't go in the back to have private conversations. I did everything out in the open. If you was going to deal with me, this is what you was going to get. And so you need to know that I'm going to put you in the rotation. You know, this fat old man that's sitting in front of you, I wasn't always this guy. At one point in time, I had it going on enough that everything was out in the open. And in the sense that, and the thing of it was, when I was young and I didn't think about the consequences, I didn't care about what they thought about it. But what I've learned as I've aged is that, those situations with polygamy where they tell you it's great, emotions, those things really start to matter. It really does matter, because now I firmly believe that sharing somebody, I don't think it's healthy. I think it's wishful thinking, you know. But again, to answer your question, if consenting adults go into that arrangement with their eyes open, have no issue with it. Long as you're not hurting old people, kids, you know, animals. If it's consenting adults, hey, you can plug plungers up your behind. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Doesn't bother me. You know. So so that's what I'm saying. But Hannah, I want to pick up where you left off, because you and Sherry, y'all both said you really do believe that it's hard to find a good black man out here. I want to share some statistics with you guys. Woo! And it literally changed my way of thinking as I looked into these statistics. You know, did you guys know that in a 2015 Penn research study, they found that 75% of recently married black men were married to, guess who? Black women. That's actually the norm. It gets And guess what? That number goes up even higher for college educated men and for black people who earn $100,000 or more. So this perception that black men aren't looking for black women, or even when they make a lot of money, they looking for other, that is actually not true. That's actually, but what happens is what we see and what's highlighted and put in front of us too many times is the interracial couples. It's the interracial couples. And this same study talked about, the thing of it was, for Hannah, for Sherry, I want you to hear this part. Black men face what's called the racial penalty simply for being a black man. They called it a racial penalty. And so when we think about it, so Sherry, for you section it off to New York, and Hannah, you here in the South, and you think about it from looking at your friends, it's the perception. It's the perception out here that a black man is really not looking for me. And as soon as he makes a lot of money, he's going to trade me in. The numbers, I have my saying, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. The numbers bear out what Candace talks about, that there really are more black healthy relationships than we ever want to talk about, but it's just not highlighted. You know why? Because when we turn on our TVs, outside of Michelle and Barack Obama, you know who we don't hear about as often? They don't make the news as often. We don't hear about Denzel and his wife, Spike Lee and his wife. You don't hear about Ice Cube and his wife. But you know who we do hear about? T.I. and his freaky deaky situation. You know what I'm saying? My John Legend and they freaky deaky situation. Kanye West and his mixed marriage. You know, those are the examples that make the news, because frankly, it's just boring to talk about a couple like Angela Bassett and her husband that have been married for years, raising kids. They don't go out that often. They raise their family. They go home. We don't see that. And so it made me look at things a little differently, that Cherry and Hannah, it really isn't the truth that it's hard to find a black man. But as we've been talking about in this conversation, we got to get past the myths and we got to get past the perceptions of what's out there. Because guess what? If we are conditioned to tell ourselves that it's not out there, you're not even going to look. And it made me think of it in a different way as well. That, you know what? That brings me to my final point about what do we do about this? So I want to come to you, Eric, first when I ask this first question. How can we collectively treat our women better? Because let's go back to the beginning of this conversation about the tax time parents, because maybe, just maybe, if we got past the myths and the perceptions and treated our women a little bit better collectively, that's why I put that in there collectively, that maybe we can kind of turn the tide a little bit. Any comments on this, Eric? No, no, not that's not the myth. The myth is that how there's black of love is not real. That there's so that black men are good black men aren't out there. That it's hard to find. So what I'm saying is that maybe if we got past those myths of the black woman being lazy and loud and this and that, and the black man being lazy and oversexed and stuff, that maybe if collectively, because one, two, three, four of you guys are married. So y'all not looking. There's two of us on here right now. We're not married. We still hoping to find somebody. So maybe collect, because two of these people think that there aren't any that black men is hard to find. You and I are black men. So what I'm saying is collectively, maybe if we treat our women better, that maybe that can make a difference. Agree or disagree? Hmm. Okay. Absolutely. Man, good point. And we lost Kennard and Comma Dizzy and Carlos. If you're still out there, comment on this, my brother. But I got you ladies on there. What do you think about that thought? That if we collectively treated women better, that maybe we can change some of those myths. What do you guys think about that? Hmm. Okay. Very interesting points. Anybody want to add anything? Sherry? Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay. Sherry, Hannah, you got anything to add? Right. Okay. Sherry, sis, you want to add anything? Okay, so let me give you guys my truth. Because I told you this subject changed me. When I dig into these subjects, I dig into it for real. And so when I say how we can collectively treat women better, I believe that. And when I listen to Hannah, Candace, Tasha, now let me say some things right off the bat. I'm certainly not saying all men are certain are the same way. You know, we know that. I consider myself a pretty good guy. You know, and for a lot of years, I actually used to say that I'm a unicorn. I'm a heterosexual male. I'm educated. I'm articulate, intelligent, clean, self-sufficient. I think I'm pretty charming. Got a good sense of humor, and I could fuck. So I used to say, well, you know what? I'm pretty much a unicorn. I'm giving y'all some truth. This is real talk. This is real talk. But in examining myself, I treated women bad. What was sad in a sense is that out when I was out there doing all my things, you know what I realized? I loved a lot of women more than they loved themselves. So when I hear people say like, "Oh, we don't treat you bad," it's it makes me sad a little bit because we do, and sometimes you guys don't even realize it. I'm gonna tell y'all a short story. Tell y'all a short story. I wanted to find somebody when I first got here, and I was looking for a relationship. This and that. A little short story. So okay, I cook this, and I cook better than most women. So I cooked this fabulous dinner, and I cooked one of my specialties. Uh, fettuccine shrimp pasta. I had my wine all set and prepared a nice salad that was made from scratch, not the pre-made salad. I took time. I was proud of myself. Cut up the salad and all this kind of stuff, and blah 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 blah. You invite the woman over, and she came in, and I got the lights nice and dim, and I got the music playing, and candles lit. She wanted no part of that. She wanted to fuck. You know what I'm saying? And my thing was, she didn't could care less about all of those good things I have prepared. The reality was she wanted to get down to it. So all of the good things that I would have wanted to do and the good guy, she wasn't gonna let me be that. She wanted me to be the other guy. And I've always gotten much further when I was the other guy. The reality is that as much as people say, women say they want to have a good man, laying back and having a great intelligent conversation with them, it never got me anywhere. What gets me a lot further is snatching on them by their hair, slamming them down to the floor, and scuffing up their knees. That's what's always got me a lot further. No, 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 don't cut me off. No, don't cut me. No, no, no. Cause that's the first thing that women want to run to is that is the women I'm dealing with. There's some reality out there that I'm sorry I'm giving you guys out there. And it made me look at the fact that I so when I say collectively we should treat women better, I want to raise my own consciousness and the consciousness of men because there are so many women that are willing to accept the bare minimum of what we give them until you're not requiring the man to give you any more than that. So it comes down to, well, why would I prepare a steak dinner for you when you perfectly fine with eating fucking ramen noodles? And in case anybody wondering, I'll tell this other part of the story. Oh, that's the kind of women you're dealing with. I told this story my whole life. The women who give me trouble is the chick that works in church's chicken, the lowly jobs. The women that I'm talking about that didn't require all those things, that is the working woman that's intelligent, that's educated, because the standard has been set so low. So what I'm talking about here is when I say treat our women better, I'm talking about raising the consciousness of how we collectively as men look at black women. Because guess what, guys? The images that we see, we don't see an educated woman in you, and a married woman in you, and an educated woman. That's not the women that is being perpetuated out there. We see the WAP women. Those are the women we see. Those are the women that's getting attention. So what I'm proposing is that maybe if we raised our level of consciousness and how we collectively, and in case you see scrolling at the bottom of your screen, it says how we. I'm not only talking about men here now. I am also going to talk about that when the we included in that is what's well. How you look at yourselves and treat yourselves. Because it's one thing about saying the black girl magic or whatever, that's a part of it. But guess what? I've had nothing but female friends my whole adult life. And if you think I treat women bad, I take my cues from how some of you treat each other and how you talk about each other behind your backs. I learned all my tricks from women. I ain't no man educated. I had 5 older brothers. My older brothers didn't teach me all these tricks. I've had women friends who gave me the keys to the kingdom of how to get past that. And so again, when I say we collectively raising our conscious level of how we look at black women, that maybe if we did that, maybe then when it comes to these tax time parents, maybe women can start making some better choices, demanding a lot more so that Pookie won't only come around during tax time. Because I'm going to answer the question from the beginning. Whose money is it, sweetheart? Listening to me out there, you tax time parents? If you're the custodial parent and you doing all those things every day, day in and day out, and that money come, you don't owe him a goddamn dime. Not a red goddamn cent. Now, I'm not advocating you go out there and buy TVs and new furniture, new purses and stuff like that. Please spend some of the money on the children and leave some of the crab legs for me, but goddamn, you don't owe him nothing. That's your money. That's my little rant. I'm sorry. You know, okay. I wish what you said was true. It's just not. It's just not true. Your very first statement you made was that people, no, no, let me finish. Let me retort. Let me retort. No, no, and I'm not talking about your personal truth. I'm not talking about your personal journey. So you may be the anomaly because even if you are the anomaly that you got two black marriages and find two black men that treat you fine, but for every one of you, there's 100 black women that's experiencing something different. Let me finish. Hence why Hannah and Sherry says that it's hard to find black men. Because to your point, you said women are going to allow you to do that's the point I was making with my story. Is that even when you want to do something better, so my thing is, I'm not going to continue to cook you a steak dinner when I can fuck for ramen noodles. Great to have standards, but my thing is, for every one of Candace that's married, Hannah that's married, Sherry that's married, we started this conversation at the very beginning. There's 100 women that have multiple kids that don't have a husband, that are only dealing with tax time parents. So you can name them whatever you want to call them, but that's the reality of it. And those women are experienced. That's I did this show for those women. See, you're not experienced, you don't deal with the tax time parenting. But I did the show for those women that are experiencing the different side of it, that they are dealing with a situation that those fathers are coming in only during tax time. And if you don't think that's a real phenomenon, talk to some of those women. That's a real thing. I didn't make that up. I'm not a tax time dad. When I eat, my whole family full. But there is a real phenomenon out there for women that I did this show because I was asked about it, because there are a lot of women facing that dilemma every single year, that you know what? I feel conflicted because should I have to share my funds with somebody that's stepping in? Oh, and by the way, he got other kids out there as well. That's a reality. So when I say you as an anomaly, I don't mean that as an insult, sweetheart. I really don't. You and I both work in education. I'm gonna say it a different way, and I tell this story all the time. Because you and I work in education and we surround ourselves with people in education, sometimes we get caught up in this bubble where we think everybody is educated. But Google simply right now how many people have a bachelor's degree, how many people have a master's degree. The numbers will show you that by and large, we are part of a small fraternity, because the average person don't fit in that bubble, but it's what we surround ourselves with. So when I have this dais up here, I wish that this panel was more reflective of the other people that's watching this, that don't have a marriage that's stable like yours, that do have multiple kids, and that do have that guy that's pressuring them right now because they want part of that money. Those are the people I'm talking about, not to you ladies. So when I say that, I promise you, I don't mean that as an insult, and I love the fact that you wear this so strongly and you are an advocate for black women. So that is why I said that I think if we collectively, I think with your strong views on uplifting women, and I'm acknowledging how bad I've even treated women. That's what, for me, why it hit me that way, Candace, is the fact that even when I thought I was doing good, I had to take a look at myself and say, well, damn, I wasn't treating them so well. You know what I'm saying? And I'm actually a fairly good guy. To be honest with you, at least when they came to my house, it was clean. They got a little bit of liquor out of it. Half the time they got a hot shower out of it. But in many cases, I posted on my site one time the guy that was laying on a mattress on the floor with a video game sitting next to him, and the caption read, "Somewhere there's 8 women." You know what I'm saying? Because that's the other reality. Right. You asking me? Ooh, I love that question. I love that question. I want to answer. Right. Right. Oh, because I love that question. And here's the reality of my answer to that question is you can say you're in control. You can't do what I do. You might think you can, but you can't. You can knock down as many men as you want to and tell yourself that you're in control. But the world we live in the United States, you can't. I can sleep with everybody in this apartment complex. They're gonna say that dude in 1537 is a goddamn stud. He knocking them hoes down. You can sleep with two dudes in your neighborhood, and they're gonna say that bitch over there is a hoe. So those notches that you putting on your belt, it doesn't translate the same. So all of this false perception, these women thinking that it doesn't go away, baby. It doesn't go away. And so you a lot of it's false positive that I'm in control and I'm not saying they're not enjoying it. Sex is enjoyable. If it wasn't, we wouldn't be in, it wouldn't be a sin in many cases. But I'm saying the reality behind it is, you know what? You know how you see those women who have a whole lot of sexual partners and then down the road, then they decide years later they want to get themselves straight. They're fighting then a perception that they always going to be known as look at how many dudes been through this woman. You know what I'm saying? But a man can I can get on crack right now and be nodding out in the middle of the street for the next 2 years and then clean myself up and the world gonna say, man, I remember when he was a bum. Man, he cleaned himself up nice. But you can nod out in a club one time, fall out sloppy drunk. Every time you go to that club, they're gonna say that's that lazy, that drunk bitch that fell out in the middle of the floor. That's the world we live in. That's the reality we live in. I'm sorry. Yeah, please. I don't. But you're talking about a different subject. But you're talking about a different subject. So, Hunter, let me answer that part of it too. I personally, I never ask a woman how many sexual partners she had because I don't believe she's gonna tell me the truth. If you told me five, I'm counting 15. Because in my opinion, women don't count miscellaneous dick. Y'all count who y'all liked. You know, you don't count that dick you sucked when you was on vacation and you got a little bit drunk. You don't count the guy that had a small dick and he really wasn't that good, so I'm not gonna count him. You count the guy you count the bingo. So I don't never ask those questions. See, so so I firmly believe women are sexually active. You guys are proving my point. So that's why I never ask those questions. No, I know, but I don't ask those questions. Honestly, I assume that you are as sexual as I am. Hannah, you getting to know me as a new person. So anybody who knows me know I got three rules. If I'm with a woman, look, don't bring me nothing, I won't bring you nothing. So you can fuck somebody else, but protect me. Make him jimmy up. Because if I'm raw dogging you, make him jimmy up. You know what I'm saying? Next, don't get caught. Be smart. Be smart. Be smart. Don't get caught. I expect you to carry yourself as a woman. Don't fuck where you eat. Go somewhere in another town, whatever, and then fuck somebody on my level. If you follow those three rules, you can have you a side dude as long as you want to. Cause I might can't ring your bell all the way. But when you bring that snatch to me, I just want it clean and don't give me nothing. And we can live inside that great lie. I'm okay with it. We can live inside that great lie. I'm at a point in my life I don't have the temperament and the patience to be wondering who you out there with and what you doing. I'm never gonna check your phone. You know what? But I know how you smell. So if you come to bed and you got a different smell on you, we're gonna have some problems. Now, if I go to itching and scratching, we're gonna have some problems. If I find out that I'm holding down a good job and you sleeping with somebody who ain't got no job and he fucking you in your car and every tooth in his head is gold and his pants are sagging, we're gonna have some problems. All I ask is you to follow those three rules, because likely I'm gonna cheat too. I just ain't gonna shit where I eat. For me, I hope one day I get to a point where I believe I can be monogamous. At this stage of my life, I don't believe I could be monogamous. So my thing is, I would do you the service of I won't cheat in the city we live in. So you ain't gonna never have to run into her. But you know, no, I'm just saying that's what I said. But there's Arkansas, there's Tennessee. When you go on little trips, you can do your little thing. And again, I'm gonna jimmy up and I'm gonna protect my woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay. We laughing, but I'm being so serious about a lot of this. But I'm trying to get better. I really, on a serious note, I am celibate. I've been celibate for over a year because I have made all those bad decisions and I'm trying to do better. But I am telling you my views because I really do believe that. Maybe that's a part of my psyche that I don't go into it thinking, well, she's the only person sleeping with me. I just don't look at it that way. I think that she's probably getting her some dick somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, baby, please respect me. Do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? And have your fun. I can't concern myself with all of that. So that when you come to see me, if it's clean and we having a good time and we treating each other the best we can treat each other, that's all I can ask for at this point. Because I think deep down, people are people. And again, I know that people do shit. I look at it in a very realistic way. You know, that's me. All right, Sherry and Tasha looking at me like I'm crazy, but y'all know how I am. You know how I feel about this. But I'll close out by saying this last point in all seriousness that that again, it made me look at how I even treated women. And that was why I said what I said in the sense that, you know what? I didn't treat, and I used to say to myself, oh man, I treated women. I really didn't. But to your point, Candace, I treated them with what they asked for. But what made me sad about that was that I wish they had asked for more. Because you know what? I'll end it with this. The woman that I married and the two other women that's been in my life that I was in love with, they demanded more of me. And that's why they got more of me because they demanded more of me. So when I met my wife, she let me get in a few touches and a few kisses, but she was like, "That's it. You can't have this. You got to marry me." So I was like, well, "Damn it! I guess I got to marry this woman." You know what I'm saying? Then I had another girlfriend that you know what I'm saying. Her level of look, you can't do this, you can't do that, and so she set the bar so high until I had to climb up to her level. That's what I'm talking about. So, Candace, Hannah, Sherry, Tasha, not every woman out there has y'all level of standards out there, sweetheart. So when I say collectively, whatever y'all got, pass that along to other women. You know what I'm saying? And then when you talk to men, same thing. So that's all I'm saying, you know. And again, I'm not saying I'm right. I love that you guys challenge me. Y'all know I'm an opinionated SOB, so that's what I do. All right. So that's the only way I know how to be. That's the only way I know how to be. Anyway, anybody got any last thoughts on this subject? No, I got you. I Okay. So you also think there's no good men in New York? So Hannah, you also think there's no good men in New York? No, that's not what I'm asking. Damn. Damn. Quickly, Tasha and Candace, do you think there's good men in New York? Right. Thank Go Herman. Go Herman. There are good men in New York. There are good men in New York. There are good men in New York. Wow. 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 Okay. I'm sorry. I'm a New Yorker, and so I'm sorry to my New Yorkers. There are there are definitely good men in New York City. No difference than it would be down south. It really is. So by your logic, your daughter, the guy she's with, he's not a good man. So she found the one good guy in New York. She found the one good guy in New York. Stop it, Tasha. Stop it. Okay, you got me on that technicality, but okay, okay. I'm a I, I'm a end this conversation on that note that I there are good men everywhere. I firmly believe that. Okay, so that's why I say y'all have me on that technicality. I'm sorry, New Yorkers, but anyway, this has been another good episode. You know, we've had some great contrarian views. I hope we got something out of it. I love having these conversations with you guys. I appreciate you more than you know. So once again, I look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. Please like the show, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe, 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 and please tell other people to subscribe to this. They can be a part of this conversation too. They can hear the lunacy, they can hear the craziness, they can disagree with me, but I will invite you to come here with me on Wednesday nights, Saturday nights. Thank you guys. I love you all for real. Y'all have a great evening. That's what's up, brother. Okay. I'm listening.